Hey guys, here are 5 common Asperger behavioural traits that you definitely mistake. All that's coming up. Hey guys, welcome back to the Aspie world. My name is Dan. I have autism, ADHD, OCD and dyslexia, and I make weekly videos on this type of content. So if you're new around here and you'd like to learn more about it, remember to hit the subscribe button by clicking on the notification bell. If you're watching over on Facebook, be sure to give this page a follow. And if you're watching on Instagram, make sure to give this account a follow to see more autism content daily from me. Guys, what is going on? Welcome back. It's super awesome to have you all here. Really pumped about doing this video. Whew, yeah, and I'm wearing a different color. Normally I don't wear green. I'm trying something out. Don't know if it's cool. Let me know in a comment down below if you think green works. If it doesn't, then just ignore this message. Anyway, how are you guys? I hope you're all doing really well. Give me a thumbs up if you're happy to be here and you're feeling pumped for another video. Guys, today, the video, we're gonna get into it in a little bit, but I wanted to just tell you that you can get my free Autism Life Hacks PDF from autismhacks.net, and you can go and do that right now for free from me. Okay, so here are 5 common Asperger behavioral traits that people probably mistake as just like, they don't see it. They mistakenly think they're just typical aspects of somebody, or a personality trait, or something that's not linked to autism. But that's why they're wrong. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm making this video. All right, enough of me waffling. Let's get coffling into it. Okay, so breaking it down, number 1 is clumsiness and poor motor coordination, right? So autism can present a lot of poor coordination skills and cause clumsiness in people because it's all down to how the brain communicates with the outside world. Also, we have to think about comorbidity, where you will have co-occurring conditions like ADHD or dyspraxia or dyslexia. Now, if you have these type of conditions, then being clumsy is going to be part and parcel of having that package of autism and dyspraxia, or autism and dyslexia. Being clumsy and having really poor motor skills is definitely on the list of most common things that people usually see in somebody. Like, oh, Larry, yeah, God, he's always falling over. Oh, he can't seem to put a cup down on the side. But it's part of being on the autism spectrum. But people can't just dismiss this because they just say, oh, that's Larry. That's our Larry. So in terms of this, it's kind of like if you see this and it's combined with some of the other bits and pieces I'm talking about, it's time to think a little bit smarter about it and not just kind of write it off as something that's just a personality trait of somebody. Okay, number 2 is issues with social functioning. Now, autistic people will have issues with social functions like socializing and socializing in general. Now, social functions are typically the way that somebody communicates in a social circle, knowing when it's their turn to talk, knowing what the rules of conversation are, knowing that if you're going to add information into a conversation, then it can't be aggressive, it can't be shocking or rude, it has to be filtered to a certain degree. And all of these social constructs, and how the distance to stand away from somebody, and everything that encompasses social communication, it's sometimes, well, most of the time, missed with people on the autism spectrum because they have such a difficulty understanding the world around them. They don't pick up on these unwritten social rules that people pick up generally just through conversations of just growing up and hanging out with people and just knowing people. It's difficult. It's a lot more effort for someone on the autism spectrum to kind of get into the swing of that. But that being said, it's just very common. It's something that's super common with people on the autism spectrum, and some people write it off as shy. I mean, my parents even wrote me off as just being shy when I was a kid. They just didn't really fully understand it, but obviously having an actual psychoanalysis of it, then we understand what's going on. But in terms of it's interesting. Okay, so number 3 is expansive language in subject areas. Okay, and that sounds like a lot of stuff I just said there in once, but basically what this means is people diagnosed with like Aspergers Syndrome usually have a very expansive language in the subject field that they're super interested in, which means that their lexicon and vocabulary will be vast within a certain genre, like Pokemon. They may know everything there is to know about Pokemon, or a certain area of science. They may be very well researched in science, in a certain topic of science that is like just their niche, and they'll know everything about it because that is like basically having a very narrow focused obsessive interest in something that then you become a pseudo expert in, and sometimes in a lot of cases then you go on to being an expert, like Temple Grandin. You know, she's an expert in, I think it's like biology and like cattle and things like that, like animal biology, and she's a doctor in that, and that was like her focus and her study of field of study, and I think that's really interesting, and I just find it super fascinating. But you'll definitely notice this because that person on the spectrum who is into that thing won't stop talking about it and will just continually just ramble about it, and it's kind of like, all right, all righty real. Okay, let's move on. So number 4 is having an above average IQ. Now, let me just put a disclaimer out there. I'm not saying that every single person on the autism spectrum will have an above average IQ. Nor am I saying that it's only people with lower support needs that will have an above average IQ. This is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying generally and commonly that you'll notice that people on the autism spectrum will think a little bit more outside the box and are really good at problem solving, and so the IQ will display quite higher than an average person. Studies have shown actually that people diagnosed with Asperger's Syndrome show to have on average an above average intelligence quota in 80% of the cases that they studied. So 80% of the people on the autism spectrum they studied actually had an above average IQ, which is absolutely fascinating. But it does give the grounds to the reasons why a lot of the most famous scientists in the world had traits of autism and would have been diagnosed with Asperger's Syndrome, like Nikola Tesla and Albert Einstein, etc. Okay, so number 5 is favoring alone time. Now, people on the autism spectrum will favor being alone over going out and socializing with friends, and it's because they have a social anxiety for big, large social gatherings and social groups, because autism presents itself in many ways, and one of the ways is that it gives you a really bad slap of anxiety, generalized anxiety, social anxiety that cause meltdowns, panic attacks, burnouts, shutdowns. So it's easier to stay at home and study the thing that you're really into and develop that lexicon than actually go out to the pub with your mates and, you know, sink a few beers or whatever. You know, that kind of like social convention, that social group thing is somewhat of a desired trait, I guess, in neurotypical people. It's something that people just do without thinking about it. Like, I could never just get on. I'm like 34 years old, right? 34-year-old dude. I'm a father, you know, and I have a girlfriend and stuff, and we have like a dog and all this stuff. But I can never just get on a train and go to like London and have coffee or whatever on my own. I can't do those things. Like, I'm so overwhelmed with that. That process that it really scares me. Even thinking about it gets me anxious, and that social anxiety kind of just comes over me. So in terms of favoring alone time, I do often, and I have done pretty much all my life, my friends would be like, hey, we're going out to a party. I'm like, yeah, I'll see you later. I've got a thing to do, you know, it's just this thing. And they're like, what thing? I'm like, leave me alone. And so it was actually playing music. I used to just hang out indoors and play bass guitar like pretty much all the time. Like, that was my thing. And I taught myself to play pretty much every instrument I can play. I play about 4 or 5 different instruments, or more than that, but I taught myself to play those instruments. But it was done in that time, that alone time, where all my friends were outside like partying and like, having girlfriends and, you know, doing cool dude stuff. But that's it. Like, if you think that this video can help somebody, please share it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you got value from it, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment if you have anything to say. I read every comment, and I'll see you next time, guys. Peace.